All right, guys. So we are done with Death of a Salesman, at least seeing Death of a Salesman. So we've gone through the whole story. And now what we're going to do is we're going to take what we've been kind of working on throughout the story with our character trackers and kind of put that stuff together to figure out what we've learned about our character as we've gone through. So what you've been kind of tracking is how this character has changed with each section that we watched. So we had 6 sections, we had 6 things to do. So what you're going to do is kind of talk about in this assignment, you're going to talk about how this character has changed over the course of the text, whichever character that you chose. Willie, Linda, Biff, or Happy. Those were the 4 characters that you could choose. So you're going to come in here, and I think this assignment is pretty straightforward of what you're going to do. So it's kind of one of those, I'm here to help you through it, but you've kind of already done part of it. Excuse me. What you're going to do first is you're going to go back to your assignments, and you are going to find the quotes that you gathered from your 6 tracking guides, and you're just going to copy and paste them in here to where you have them. And the reason being is we want you to be able to look back on those and reference them as you go through, and basically be able to use them to help you remember, oh yeah, he did this during this part or did this during this part, right? So that's the first part. That part's easy. You've already done those quotes. If you haven't, for whatever reason, you can always go back and find a quote for that section because you should have 6 quotes when it comes down to it. And then you're going to take a second and you're going to look at those quotes and say, what do the quotes tell us about your character? What did you learn about them? What did we learn about their motivations and values? So you're going to spend a paragraph just talking about your character. What did you learn about your character based on all these quotes that you found? Because a lot of the quotes that you guys chose were really important quotes. Some of them were really small, but they had big meaning, right? And everybody that really put effort into the quotes, guys, your all's quotes were great choices. Loved it. Absolutely loved what you all were choosing. So what did you actually learn about the characters as you went through those quotes? And write out a complete paragraph. I do want to see a complete paragraph. This is like our kind of I don't want to call it a final. Mr. Bush made this document. He called it a final, and I hate that. But it's kind of just like our final assignment for this. So it's kind of like our version of like if we did an essay or a test, right? So do spell out a full paragraph about your character. Make sure it's not copied from somewhere else. Put it in your own words. Things like that. But just tell me about your character. What did you learn about your character? And then what we're going to do is get a little bit more specific. Okay? God, I can't stop yawning. Sorry, guys. I still don't feel great. I'm having a rough week, but I'm here. That's what matters. So what you're going to look at first is how do they change from when the flashbacks were happening? So like when Biff and Happy were in high school to the present. Because we saw a big difference between like Happy and Biff, I really think of when I think that there's a difference between the two of them, right? What's different about them? What causes their development or change from back then to now? And Biff, we have like a really strong understanding of what changes him. And also Willie is a big piece of it too. Like we know a little bit of what changes him. So what is it that actually changes them? Your character that you chose from the time of the flashbacks to the present. So then from the time that Biff arrives home to Willie's funeral, how do they change from the beginning to the end of the play? So we see in the actual present, there's really only about 2 days there, right? It's like we have when Willie comes home, the night that Willie comes home, and they all kind of argue and things happen. Then the next morning they wake up and he goes to see Bill Oliver, goes to the restaurant, comes home, and then we have a funeral, right? So there's not much time there in the real time. But what changed in those guys from there? Like I think of why would Happy suddenly decide to say, I'm getting married? I just wanted to let you know, Ma. Why is Biff pleading with Happy to take care of Dad? What is it that's going on that is triggering all these changes, right? And what changes actually happen between them, or is there change? I know I think of somebody that was writing about Happy, and they were like, holy crap, Happy was a super scumbag here, what's going on? And like, yeah, like it was a moment of scumbagginess from Happy. What does that mean? Was that a change, or was he always a bit of a scumbag? Like it's like having to write that out and like really think about what that character did. And that's it. So that's really that's it for our first part of our assignment. This is the one that's the most like writing, but we got to do something kind of like this to get that writing those writing skills out. I know you all can do this, but if you notice on the second period, so I'm going to show you first period. Um, on here, I have it due March 26th. That's like the Friday before we go on spring break. And that's just because that's really when it's due. Like I'm not panicking about this. This isn't something that's going to be due next class. So it's something that I really want you guys to concentrate on and really put your effort in to do well on over this next time. We're going to have a second part, and I'm going to talk about that on Monday. But it's less writing and more fun, honestly. It's more on the creative side of things, and you'll have the same amount of time to do it. Well, you'll have the week to do it. But we're working on this today, so that's kind of where we're at. And so first things first, are there any questions about the assignment that we have? Okay, now I'm going to stop recording. Y'all rock. Those that are watching the recording, if you need anything, private comment, email, whatever, happy to help you out. And I'm going to stop